So what would you say is your biggest struggle then? You talked about, you being able to overcome the no's with that positive attitude. What would you say is the biggest struggle that you've had to overcome in your past?
Now, would you say, is this like entrepreneur related or just in general?
I guess it could be, either life or career.
Okay. So I guess,
if you have one for each, then that would be cool.
Sure,
too.
I can just share with you all my personal
Yeah,
struggles. Why not, right?
excellent. Yeah, we'll go until the
we'll
card
share
runs.
the list at the end of this.
Yeah, we'll do it until the cards run out. I don't know, or the batteries. Yeah, we'll see.
Biggest struggle. Okay. There's definitely been a few. Just off the top of my head, one of the struggles that I had, especially with Epicater, is, are you familiar with Impostor Syndrome?
Yes.
Okay. So I struggle with that by quite a bit because I'm not traditionally educated, and I know saying good business acumen can be very general, but it also can be very specific to some. I would have categorized myself as not having any business acumen. When I first started the company, my background was 100% in sales. So it wasn't like I had an MBA in something. I couldn't even look at a profit and loss sheet. I knew what the final number on the very bottom of that sheet meant. But how that was calculated and everything else on it, did not understand. And I realized that, or I found myself as the business grew and I was dealing with anyone from a potential investor to a new employee to a colleague, that I had a lot of knowledge gaps. And it constantly made me think, like, maybe I'm just lucky and I lucked out on this, but I'm not the right person to be doing this. And I struggled with that for quite some time. And I guess how that struggle came out is just lack of confidence with my colleagues and even with myself. A really simplistic problem, if you want to call it that, might come up, but I would take forever trying to think about it, think of every angle, and then realize that maybe I'm too dumb to solve this problem and that there's a smarter person out there. And then it took some time, but I realized that, hey, I got to start from somewhere. Right. Maybe feeling this way as an imposter is better than being overconfident, because wouldn't want to fall on my own sword or make a bad, arrogant decision. But I also realized that not being confident is also going to eventually lead to my downfall. I'd be paralyzed by options and never choosing one. So, even to this day, I'm still overcoming it. It's been getting much better. And I've had amazing colleagues that I work with that remind me that I'm not as bad as I think I am sometimes. So that obviously helps as well.
Wow. So I guess you really have to figure out how to strike that balance between, being just, confident enough, but not to the point of, delusional and overestimating or overguessing, but you also don't want to be underestimating yourself and, doubting every decision, and you become paralyzed and you don't do anything.
Exactly.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So I think, and I guess that's something that you're still overcoming, right? So you find that, what would you say is the biggest part in helping you sort of overcome that? Is you mentioned your
probably autobiographies
team,
and books that talk about other people's lives and the struggles they have. And even honestly, if I listen to more podcasts, maybe even like this, and realizing that other people fall into the same category, there's something so oddly relieving of knowing that someone is just as fucked up as you are.
Wow.
Isn't it relieving?
Yeah. Well, you guys heard it here first. That means you guys should be definitely following the podcast for every episode that comes out. I guess that's just a law now. It's a fact that that being inspired helps you do great things.
And also, and I find that it's being talked about more, but it was definitely not talked about back in the day, is the negative aspects of starting a business and the trials and tribulations. I found at the time that all I got was the glorified tidbits that sound amazing when the individual overcomes it, but the end of the story. It's like watching a movie where you know that the protagonist is going to come out a hero. So the middle part of the movie, they're dangling off the cliff. You already know they're going to survive it.
Right.
So when it's you dangling off the cliff, you don't know you're going to survive it.
Right.
So you're constantly second guessing yourself, or when you're fighting that boss fight, if you may, in your own life, which could be an inner demon. It could be something metaphorical, or hopefully you're not fighting actual people.
Right.
But maybe it is. You don't really know if you're going to come out on top. And you could go into it with 100% of phony confidence, which might work against you because you overestimate the problem.
Of course.
Or you come at it with no confidence and then the problem crushes you. Or you realize that, you know what, even if I lose at this, what's important is I learn something from it and I do it again until I win.
Wow. Yeah, that's like definitely basically the whole point of me making this podcast is to really inspire those people, when you feel like you're in the trenches and you feel like you're drowning and there's no way out. It's good to know that other people have made it out, and you can look to them as an example. And that's why I wanted to do it with people who are also early on in their careers. It's not because then you're still close enough in years that you're still attached, and you still remember, like the wounds are still a little bit fresh.
Yes.
And you're still going through a few of those battle wounds.
You're still a human at that point.
Yeah.
You haven't reached God status.
Yeah. It's not like interviewing a retiree who founded a successful company and it has now since retired. It's someone who's still going through the early trenches. So thank you for summarizing.
Thank you. You're doing great work for many people, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. You guys heard it here first. Keep following the podcast.
He paid me $20 to say that.
Shh. I'll send you the e-transfer later.